Yo, 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 what's up, guys? All right, update video on AMC. The tracking continues, and I've got some pretty cool stuff to cover here. Um, all right, but first, remember, subscribe, like this video, guys. Put a lot of effort here into the AMC tracking cycle, all that good stuff. I also want to talk about the website real quick. The scanner is up. All right, you guys can use the scanner if you are on the Discord. Here's a little bit about what is offered on the Discord, as well as some TradingView indicators. All have to do with the cycle. So whenever you have a chance, click the link below. It will take you straight there. And let's get straight to it. All right. So AMC right now is tracking, is tracking this macro cycle, and I split it up into smaller phases. So instead of tracking the this macro movement that we're expecting here to hit the $12 range by June, by the quad witching date, which I have overlaid here, I'll go over it a little bit later in the video. I want to talk about this micro move, right? So this push from $3 to 13 got shut down. We're trading back at $4. I'm going to pull up some reference stocks, and this reaccumulation, if you will, is what it's called. So I split it up into 4 sections here inside this reaccumulation pattern. So we have the volatility zone in green. All right, so this is what establishes basically is what starts this short-term cycle, this reaccumulation cycle, which happens before major run-ups. So I refer to this as the projector, right? The projector pattern on AMC back in 2021. We called this the projector pattern. Happens before every major run-up, and that's, I think, what's happening right now, except we have a much bigger version of that. So these can happen, they can happen very quickly, or they can take their time. Now, this setup here is taken from a few reference patterns, right? So we have a few here, guys. Here is the other copy, so we can see exactly what is going on. And I'm going to pull up one by one so you can see what I am tracking here. So this is the first one. What I noticed right off the bat is this accumulation section inside this reaccumulation, right? Macro reaccumulation. What is going on right here? All right, so we have what seems to be a form of a triple top setup. The price starts ascending and creates higher lows, and then it breaks down. It's the first initial fake out, which gives us this macro double bottom, right? So this is exactly what AMC is doing right now before making that macro double bottom. As soon as we finish this fake out, the price starts to curl back up, and we experience a volatility event, right? So in terms of, this is something you can track with fractals. You can track it with one-to-one patterns. A lot of them are very similar. This is just one pattern, though. All right, our next pattern here has the same formation, and this one here has a little bit more data. So we have the triple top, higher lows, breaks down, fake out, double bottom, a smaller projector, and then the price keeps going up. Okay, this is our third pattern. This is one of the macro patterns we are tracking on AMC. This is SNDL. Okay, now the way that fractals and patterns work, to my knowledge, and the way that I apply it when I'm analyzing stocks is, well, certain sections, in this case volatility phase here, tend to happen a lot quicker or a lot slower. We can tell right here the price falls a lot quicker on AMC, but the accumulation period on SNDL is a lot quicker, right? So it bleeds, right, a lot slower than what we're looking at here with AMC. And this little section on AMC's chart is a lot bigger. But basically, the important thing to track here are the levels. Once we figure out where we are in the cycle, which this seems to be reaccumulation, when we figure that out, it's a lot easier to start crossing these sections out, right? Because the algorithms are very specific in the way that they run these patterns. So for SNDL, right, this section, reaccumulation right before we break out, this is called advancing. This is where we have the levels hitting along with these other patterns, right? These other patterns overlaid also show us the same thing. Okay. Around the 9, in this case would be the $9 or $8 range on AMC before it gets shut down and then continues to climb even higher. Now, don't pay attention to these dates over here because we're just doing a side-to-side preview here, correlation between both of them. This on AMC would happen a lot quicker. If this reaccumulation cycle here happens a lot quicker as well. So this is the next pattern. Okay, it looks a little different. There's a lot more volatility happening inside this pattern. But again, guys, what is going on inside this section? We have the fake out, triple top, looks like to be potentially an ascending wedge as well. Variations of this, but if you catch the same formation, regardless of what the pattern is, this could be a cup on certain patterns. It could be a triple top on certain patterns. With AMC, it looks to be a triple top, and some of them are ascending, also creating higher highs. The point is here, we want to see that double bottom take place, and this one is showing us the same thing. Right? Overlaid on top, we have you reaccumulate, short-term reaccumulation, advancing, which turns into macro advancing for AMC here. Again, hitting the same levels that we're tracking. And then finally, the stock that we've been tracking this entire time, Carvana. Same thing, right? This section here, a lot slower on Carvana, but right now on AMC, it seems to be almost identical in the way that this triple top here, double bottom, is playing out. Almost the same, just slightly sped up on this Carvana fractal. And then you go back to reaccumulation, advancing, and then another volatility zone. Okay, so all of these guys are calling for the same thing. And pretty much, right, this doesn't confirm that it's a probability thing, right? Same with the cycle. The way we track the cycle, we get into these POIs, it's a probability thing. When algorithms, copy paste, rinse these patterns, there's a higher chance that things would play out this way based on historical patterns. And that's why we do this. That's why we try and figure out where AMC is in the cycle. Now, obviously, with this is a micro pattern on or micro phase that we're tracking. So the correlation is always greater when you're tracking macro patterns, because that means that anywhere in this macro cycle, volatility events, when they do happen, they can happen independently from their cycles. They can happen a lot quicker. We can have a period in the cycle where the price is trading flat. So these all have something in common. Doesn't mean AMC has to follow the same exact sequence, but again, it gives the correlation is good right now for this to play out. The only thing that would invalidate this sequence from playing out is if this double bottom does not play out. Right? If this double bottom does not play out, then we can't really say the correlation is high anymore with this specific section here. Not that the macro projection doesn't hold, but we can't say that the correlation is holding well with these patterns that we're tracking right here, because none of them really break that double bottom. They get close to it, but we do see a continuation. So what could happen with AMC is that we could get very close to this bottom here. We can get a quick spring maybe in the after-hour session, and then the price could start ascending after that. This is basically calling for upside here going into next week, which also happens to be the 3-year anniversary of the June run-up. So there might be a correlation with that as well. Again, with options expiration dates, we have a major option expiration date in June, which is why I think we are going to see the $12 range again by that time. If not, okay, this is where I'm going to talk about the quad witching dates a little bit. All right, updating that as well. So here, this is the quad witching projection I have. One of the things I had said was that in order for AMC to see a change in the macro trajectory, right? A macro trajectory is just going to show us where the price is headed to. Especially with options, right? With options, we want to see the trajectory taken from every quad witching date, because it only happens 4 times a year. Whoops. So that's how we know it's very important, right? That with AMC, we have not seen the quad witching trajectory change for turn bullish. We haven't seen that yet. This will be the first time that we see the trajectory change drastically, right? If we see the price end in this $12 range, that means the trajectory is going to hold and look like this. This is why we're seeing everything else happen the way it looks. We would see a continuation. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, hey, people are expecting this to happen a lot quicker, but from my knowledge and understanding and looking at AMC's chart, how it functions, how the cycle works, these guys have all the time in the world to do these algorithms, right? To follow through with these algorithms with the amount of capital they have. And options play a big role, but we understand that volume is also a huge thing here. And the more volume that comes in, the more vulnerable that these market makers become, right? And that's where you tend to see these squeezes take place. So algorithms will likely speed up at that point. It could change the projection that I have here, could happen a lot quicker. But based on time and everything else, historical patterns and everything like that, I think this is a good projection if AMC is changing its macro trajectory here by next quad witching date. Now, even if the price, guys, were to come up to $8 and we end the trading day by that quad witching date at $8, the trajectory would still be holding up, right? It would still be positive. We need it to at least be positive for the price to be more likely to climb in the following months. Okay, this is a pretty steep, right, projection, but based on a lot of these patterns, especially the short-term ones, this is what they're calling for. AMC doesn't have to follow it 1-to-1. At least the $7 or $8 range would be ideal by that time, so that the price can finally start turning around. Okay. All right. So things are looking great, guys. This is just another step in the right direction. I really like the micro charts that are the micro patterns that are playing out right now. And this is what I said, right? As we start to see the price develop, and this is where we start checking things off, because right now the structure of this pattern right now is very bullish, in my opinion. And with the reference patterns that I just pulled up, they all have a high correlation with this double bottom setup that is followed by upside. And this is why I think that it's important to be patient with AMC, because trying to figure out what the price is going to do at these lower levels is harder, and why I say, these updated videos that I post, they take about maybe a few days for me to post, because I want more confirmation on what the price is more likely to do next based on the analysis. Okay, so just checking things off, but it's all about patience. All right, so guys, that is it for the video. Remember, subscribe, like it, share it, do all you got to do, and check out the link below. Support the channel through the Discord. Awesome, guys. We'll see you on the next stream. Bye-bye.